We've got breaking news out of the NBA where Kevin Durant is headed to the Houston Rockets. That's according to ESPN. The 15-time All-Star joins a Rockets team that's coming off their first 50-win season since 2020 and is looking to become a true contender in the West. In exchange for Durant, Phoenix will receive a package that includes Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. And with this news, we bring back in John Gonzalez, who is our one of our NBA insiders for CBS Sports. John, on the day of the NBA Finals Game 7, this news has to break. We just looked at it right there. It seems like Houston is giving up quite a bit for Kevin Durant. Is it worth it? What are your initial reactions?
My initial reaction was exactly what you just said, that on the morning of Game 7, we have the Kevin Durant. Can you imagine the NFL, like the morning of the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes gets traded? No, only in the NBA, right? I think on this one, it's about as good as you would expect the Rockets to be able to do, considering that Kevin Durant, while amazing and a future certain Hall of Famer, one of the top 75 players of all time, he's 37 years old and he's on a $54.7 million expiring contract. So I think that this is a pretty good haul if you're the Phoenix Suns. Now, they get Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks. They were never going to get Amin Thompson. He was always untouchable. There was some thought about, could you maybe pry away Alperen Şengün? The answer is no here. Jalen Green, his offense is sort of intermittent. He's definitely a gunner. It'll be interesting to see how he fits alongside Devin Booker in Phoenix. But then from the Houston perspective, Katie, this is a question of, were they going to wait? Were they going to decide, like, let's see another half season up through the trade deadline of how the Houston Rockets team, a young Houston Rockets team, would look, and then make a decision on trying to add a piece. But instead, they decided to add KD. Right now, they were the second overall seed in the Western Conference this season with a really young core. This accelerates their timeline, obviously. This is a big swing by them. They think that they're championship contenders right now, and they probably are.
Well, let's expand on that a little bit farther. I mean, they are just coming off their first 50-win season since 2020. They're well coached. They were the number 2 seed in the West before getting knocked off by the Warriors. But now they add Kevin Durant. What do they look like to you this next season?
Yeah, I love them. I was an early adopter of them 2 years ago. I thought that they were going to make the playoffs. They didn't. They just missed. And then this season, I thought they were going to make the playoffs. And boy, they not only did they make the playoffs, but again, they end up as the number 2 seed. Now they get bounced out in the first round by the Golden State Warriors. So again, I wanted to see, okay, would they maybe just like let this young core group grow a little bit? But instead they bring in KD. And yes, this absolutely accelerates their path and their hopes to win a championship, because what did they lack last season? They lacked a closer and a consistent scorer. Well, boom, all of a sudden you bring in Kevin Durant. He does that all day, every day. So that answers one problem. Plus, he's a great defender. Ime Udoka, his baseline is, if you don't play defense, you don't play for me. Well, Kevin Durant is excellent at both ends of the floor. So he's a little bit older, obviously, a lot older, actually, than most of their core group. But he's a veteran presence. He's an experienced player. He's won championships in the past. He's been on a bunch of winning teams. And now in a loaded Western Conference, you have to be looking at the Rockets as one of the main favorites next season to not only get out of the Western Conference, but to potentially win a championship.
Yeah, even look at that playoff series this year against the Warriors. Would the Warriors have beat them with Kevin Durant? I don't know. That begs the question there. Looking at the Suns team, obviously they're able to offload KD here. There's some rumors surrounding Bradley Beal. They're picking up Jalen Green. They're picking up Dillon Brooks and a slew of draft picks. What does the outlook look like for them?
Yeah, it's a little bit still under construction, right? Because I like Jalen Green. He's got a lot of upside, a lot of potential, but he's been super inconsistent. And I think the fit there with Devin Booker might be a little wonky because they're both gunners and neither of them is a traditional point guard. And I wonder how that's going to work. Dillon Brooks is a useful rotation player for sure. That number 10 pick, that's their pick. They get it back. There was some question about whether or not, if Houston and the Suns traded together, whether or not the Suns could get back some more of their future draft capital, because the Rockets also control their 2027 first-round draft pick and their 2029 first-round draft pick. But instead, they get number 10 in this draft. Pretty good. And then those 5 seconds, it's a bushel of seconds. You hope to hit on one of those. I think that this signals what we already knew about the Phoenix Suns, which is that finally they've come to the realization that they are not contenders in a loaded Western Conference, that they're going to have to reboot this thing on the fly. You mentioned Bradley Beal. He still has that no-trade clause. It's one of the most onerous contracts in the NBA. I wonder if they can somehow pay somebody to take him him off their hands with some of these second round picks perhaps. But yeah, this is still under construction. Figure it out as they go along and try to build around Devin Booker as they move forward.
Crazy, crazy news on the day of a Game 7 for the NBA Finals. John Gonzalez, appreciate you hopping on with us quickly to discuss this breaking news. If you want more from John, you know they're going to be discussing this on their podcast, Beyond the Arc with Bill Ryder. Watch now by scanning that QR code on your screen. But don't go anywhere. Kevin Durant going to the Rockets. It is crazy. We are breaking it all down with more coverage after the break.
You just got traded!
Seems like not everyone down. Seems like there is a news report that has just taken place about Katie's destination. I believe that Katie has been traded to the Houston Rockets.
You saw it there. Kevin Durant is heading to the Houston Rockets. That's according to ESPN. The 15-time All-Star joins a Rocket team that's coming off their first 50-win season since 2020 and is looking to become a true contender in the West. In exchange for Durant, Phoenix will receive a package that includes Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and the number 10 overall pick in this year's draft and 5 second-round picks. And with that, for more coverage on this crazy breaking news, we have in the Gold Hammer himself, Tim Doyle. And Tim, this is wild. It's Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and this is the news that comes out. And when you look at someone like Kevin Durant, he is an all-star many years over. He's the 2-time Finals MVP. What does this mean for this stage of his career?
I absolutely love this for the Houston Rockets. This is what they needed, Katie. They did not have a closer. And one thing we know about Kevin Durant is the guy can fill up the basket. He's one of the greatest scorers in the history of the game. 17 years in the NBA, averaging 27 points a game over the course of his career. And Houston was missing this key piece. They have an established big guy who's an amazing passer and can do so many other things in Şengün. They have an old veteran point guard who's been through the wars, won an NBA championship in Fred VanVleet. And they have a young superstar in Amen Thompson who has all this potential, but he struggles to shoot the ball from the perimeter. What a great guy for Amen Thompson to learn from in one of the all-time greats, Kevin Durant. So they already have a team that locks up defensively. At this point in his career, he may not be the elite defender that he once was, but this is an amazing fit. They were second in the Western Conference, and now they get one of the all-time greats. I think they have to be considered a big-time title contender immediately.
Yeah, and you look at someone like Kevin Durant, he may not be a spring chicken anymore, but he is still easy money sniper, one of the best in the NBA. And Tim, a lot of blame can go on the Suns here for the end of the Kevin Durant era, but how do they pick up the pieces here? They got a lot of draft picks coming in. They got some good players coming in. What do you think?
2 words. Hold on, because this is about to be the roller coaster there in Phoenix. I mean, they brought in new ownership. Matt Ishbia, Michigan State, former player for Tom Izzo there. Guys made a ton of money in the business world. He owns the team. And if you're a Suns fan, he tried. I didn't love, the way he was kind of cooking up his meal, but they tried. They brought in Bradley Beal. They got Kevin Durant. It didn't fit with Devin Booker. And now we're going to watch how this all kind of plays out. So they're stockpiling picks here. I don't think it makes sense to have Jalen Green and Devin Booker.